The night was ablaze with the flickering light of oil lamps, and the air was thick with the scent of burning incense and the sounds of rhythmic drumming. Deep in the heart of Ile-Ife, the ancestral home of the Yoruba people, a child was born. Moremi, the daughter of a powerful hunter, was no ordinary child. From the moment she opened her eyes, the priestesses whispered among themselves, sensing the presence of the gods in her soul. Born into a time of strife, Ile-Ife was constantly under siege by mysterious raiders known as the Ugbo. They attacked with cunning, masked in eerie disguises, making them appear as spirits rather than mere men. The people of Ile-Ife, proud and strong, found themselves powerless against these spectral invaders who raided their villages, taking slaves and plundering their resources. The elders prayed, the warriors fought, but the Ugbo remained undefeated. Moremi grew into a woman of breathtaking beauty, wisdom, and strength. Her intelligence surpassed that of her peers, and her presence commanded attention. By 16, Moremi's beauty was legendary. Her skin like polished mahogany, eyes sharp as obsidian. Princes from Benin to Oyo sought her hand, but she chose Oranmiyan, heir to the throne of Ile-Ife and son of Oduduwa. Their wedding was a spectacle. Drummers beat bata rhythms, and maidens twirled in indigo-dyed aso-oke. Yet whispers followed her. A queen who wields a spear. What madness! As Oranmiyan's consort, Moremi walked the marbled halls of the palace, but her heart chafed at courtly rituals. When raiders cloaked in raffia palm began terrorizing Ile-Ife's markets, burning homes, stealing women, she seethed. The Ugbo, as they were called, struck like shadows, their identities masked by flammable disguises. The people believed them. Ara Orun, spirits from the realm of the dead. Priests sacrificed goats and virgins. Oramiyan prayed to Oranmila. Nothing worked. One night, as smoke curled over sacked villages, Moremi confronted her husband. "Your prayers are whispers in a hurricane. Let me act." Oranmiyan gripped his throne, torn between tradition and his queen's fire. "If you fail, the gods will curse us both." One evening, as she sat by the banks of the Esinmiran River, where spirits were said to whisper to those who dared listen, she made a vow to the river goddess. "O Great One, guide me in saving my people, and I will offer you the greatest sacrifice I can give." The water stirred as if in acknowledgement, and Moremi knew her destiny was set. The queen devised a daring plan. She allowed herself to be captured during one of the Ugbo raids, feigning helplessness. She was taken as a slave to the enemy's kingdom, but unlike the others, she did not weep or beg. Instead, she observed, she listened, and she learned. Moremi's beauty and intelligence soon caught the attention of the Ugbo ruler. She became a favored presence in the palace, using her wit to gain the king's trust. As she spent time among them, she discovered the secret of the Ugbo warriors. They were mere mortals, not spirits, and their power lay in the flammable grass fibers of their disguises. The key to their defeat was fire. With this knowledge, Moremi escaped, returning to Ile-Ife under the cover of night. She revealed all she had learned to her people. The warriors of Ile-Ife prepared, and when the Ugbo attacked once more, they were met not with fear but with flames. The raiders, stripped of their mystical advantage, fell before the warriors of Ile-Ife. Victory was finally theirs. Yet victory came at a cost. Moremi remembered her vow to the Esinmiran River and knew she had to fulfill her end of the bargain. With a heavy heart, she approached the sacred waters and asked, "What shall I give you in return for my people's salvation?" The answer was crueler than she had imagined. She had to offer her only son. Grief-stricken, but bound by honor, Moremi sacrificed her child to the gods. The wails of her sorrow echoed through the land, and the people mourned with her. Yet they hailed her as the greatest hero of their time, the woman who saved Ile-Ife at the greatest personal cost. In her later years, Moremi remained a revered figure, her strength undiminished by age. She continued to advise the rulers of Ile-Ife, ensuring the kingdom never fell into the hands of another enemy. Some say she walked among the gods after her death, her spirit never fading from the land she loved so deeply. But on the night of her passing, as the winds howled through the trees, a whisper carried through the air, a promise, a warning. "I shall return when my people need me again." And so, her legend endures, leaving the question unanswered. Will Queen Moremi rise once more? To honor her sacrifice, the people of Ile-Ife established an annual festival, celebrating her bravery and devotion. Statues were erected in her honor, songs were sung of her courage, and young women were taught of her wisdom and fearlessness. She became more than just a queen. She became a symbol of resilience, a goddess among mortals. As generations passed, her name remained woven into the fabric of Yoruba history. Elders would gather children by the fire and recount the tale of Moremi, teaching them the values of selflessness, duty, and courage. Women in power drew inspiration from her strength, and warriors in battle invoked her spirit for protection. Though the world around Ile-Ife changed, the legacy of Moremi never faded. The river she once vowed upon still flows, a reminder of the sacrifice she made. The winds that carry her whispered promise continue to sweep across the land, touching the hearts of those who believe in her eternal spirit. Perhaps one day, when the Yoruba people once again face insurmountable odds, the spirit of Moremi Ajasoro will rise, just as she promised, to protect the land she once ruled. And on that day, the legend of Moremi will not just be a story, it will be a prophecy fulfilled. In the aftermath of Queen Moremi Ajasoro's legendary sacrifice, the people of Ile-Ife endeavored to rebuild their lives, honoring her memory through the annual Ile Festival. This celebration served as a poignant reminder of her unparalleled bravery and the profound cost of their hard-won freedom. Under the renewed leadership of King Oranmiyan, Ile-Ife flourished. Trade routes reopened, artisans and farmers thrived, and the town's spiritual and cultural practices were revitalized. The shadow of the Ugbo raids began to fade, replaced by a collective resilience and a commitment to safeguarding their homeland. However, as seasons turned, unsettling rumors emerged. Travelers and hunters reported sightings of figures adorned in raffia, eerily reminiscent of the dreaded Ugbo masqueraders. These apparitions were seen at the fringes of the dense forests bordering Ile-Ife, evoking memories of past terrors. The king convened his council to address these ominous reports. Some elders dismissed the sightings as mere folklore, tales spun by overzealous storytellers. Others, recalling the devastation of previous invasions, urged immediate action to investigate and fortify the town's defenses. One evening, as the council deliberated, a stranger arrived at the palace gates. Clad in simple garments, but possessing an aura of gravitas, he introduced himself as Akinjide, a wanderer with knowledge of the unseen realms. He claimed to have insights into the re-emergence of the raffia-clad figures and sought an audience with the king. Granted permission to speak, Akinjide recounted his journeys through distant lands and encounters with ancient spirits. He spoke of a prophecy foretelling the return of a great evil, one that could only be vanquished by the bloodline of the brave. The council listened intently, the weight of his words settling heavily upon them. Intrigued by the mention of the bloodline of the brave, the council pondered its meaning. Could it refer to the descendants of Queen Moremi? Her lineage had been revered, but with the loss of her only son, Ugbo, the direct line was believed to have ended. Yet whispers persisted of distant relatives and hidden heirs. Determined to uncover the truth, King Oranmiyan dispatched emissaries to neighboring towns and villages, seeking any who might share Moremi's noble blood. The hope was to find an individual who could fulfill the prophecy and lead them against the impending threat. In the quiet town of Ile-Ife, the birthplace of Moremi, the emissaries encountered a young woman named Adetutu. Known for her striking resemblance to the legendary queen and her innate leadership qualities, she had long captivated the townspeople. Upon inquiry, it was revealed that she was a distant relative of Moremi, her lineage tracing back through generations. Adetutu was brought to Ile-Ife, where she was received with a mix of awe and skepticism. The council deliberated on the next steps, debating whether this young woman could indeed be the key to their salvation. As they pondered, reports of the raffia-clad figures grew more frequent, their presence inching ever closer to the heart of Ile-Ife. As the full moon cast an eerie glow over the ancient city, drums echoed in the distance, a sound not heard since the days of the Ugbo invasions. The people gathered, eyes wide with fear and anticipation, as shadows emerged from the forest line. Adetutu stepped forward, her heart pounding, as she prepared to confront the enigmatic threat that loomed before them. Would history repeat itself, or had destiny forged a new path for Ile-Ife? The fate of the kingdom hung in the balance, awaiting the courage of a new heroine. Witness the legend unfold. Don't miss out. Like, subscribe, and be part of history in the making.